We now have the sequel to the original Elegoo Centauri Carbon, the Centauri Carbon 2. In a lot of ways, it's the same printer, now with a multi-material option on the side. There's a few other small changes that they've made, but generally, the multi-material is the big upgrade here. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I do really like the original Centauri Carbon for what it is. It's a pretty basic, cheap, reliable Core XY 3D printer. Got a good build volume of 256 millimeters in every dimension. The only downside here is that it never came with a multicolor option. When I initially got it, they told me there would not be an upgrade, and then some other people were told that there would be an upgrade, and eventually they did scrap it. So some people, I think, bought this printer hoping they would get that update, and I know that really disappointed a lot of customers out there. And I think that is a good reminder for all of us out there that buying especially tech products, don't buy it hoping on a future update to give it the features you want. Buy it only on the current features that are there today. So now let's dive into the specs and similarities between both of these printers. Side by side, these are both very similar printers, with the multi-material being the main upgrade on the Centauri Carbon 2. They both have a build volume of 256 millimeters in every dimension. They've got identical hot ends, easy to remove the front cover here. The Centauri Carbon 2 has this extra board up here. I think those are extra sensors for the filament that comes in from the top here. The nozzle is exactly the same on both of them. Here's the original Centauri Carbon, and it uses magnets to remove that. Changing the hot end is fairly easy with these two screws mounted on top here. They both have a camera mounted on the front of the chamber. The original Centauri Carbon has an auxiliary fan mounted on the back here. This is the opening, so it would blow out here along the part. There is an activated carbon filter in there. It is a little bit harder to get to because it is screw mounted in place. No side auxiliary fan on the original Centauri Carbon. The Centauri Carbon 2 has a side mounted auxiliary fan similar to a lot of other printer brands. In the back of the Centauri Carbon 2 is this chamber. The back of the chamber has this opening here. This fan grill can be closed. It's open for printing PLA, and then it closes for printing ABS. Down here on the bottom is a activated carbon filter that's easy to pull out and change. Neither of these printers have active chamber heaters, but I have had good results printing high temperature filaments like ABS. One feature I really like about these printers that I haven't seen any other brand do is making the build plates actually different on the two different sides. It comes with side A, which is best for a range of filaments. It's a weaker adhesive texture on this side. Side B is a bit stronger, but they recommend it only for PLA printing. Side B sticks really well for PLA prints, but it would be too strong for most other materials. Side A is a little bit weaker and does work with PLA, TPU, ABS, PETG, carbon fiber, your wide range of materials on this textured PEI side. This is so cool to really have two different build plates attached to the same build plate. I don't know why other brands don't do this. They both have solid metal construction, with this part being metal and glass front doors. The original Centauri Carbon comes with a glass top, while the Centauri Carbon 2 comes with this plastic top lid. In comparison, this does feel a little bit flimsy, kind of just like a large Tupperware top, but it's probably a cost-saving measure making this out of plastic instead of glass and metal. Another thing to mention with this top cover being so large on here is just how tall it makes the printer now. Fully installed, it comes to 29¼ inches tall, or about 74 centimeters tall. Plus, you do need a little bit of height to be able to lift this up and off there. While the original Centauri Carbon only comes in at 19½ inches, or maybe 49 centimeters tall. I don't usually mention the unboxing and setup process on most printers because it's become so fast and quick on most machines. 15 minutes and you're done. This one was easily 30+ minutes. Each of these you have to screw onto the side here, then these install here. The canvas system you have to screw to this back plate, and then you screw that plate down to the printer. This top cover is two parts that easily slide together. You have to install the screen on the front, which is pretty common on most printers. You do have to take the 3 screws that hold the build plate down. Again, that is common. Then you do have to install the poop chute in there, which is a few screws you have to reach around the back to get. It's not a difficult or complex process. It just takes a bit more time than with most other printers, so I thought I would mention it here. The screen is one area that has been greatly improved on the Centauri Carbon 2. The original is a 4.3-inch screen, and the new one is a full 5-inch screen. The original is a good layout. You've got everything around here, easy to maneuver menus, calibration. It's fairly easy to use, but there is a spot here missing. That's for the multicolor. On the Centauri Carbon 2, it's very similar in layout, except down here we've got access to the filament, or this button or this button on the side here takes you directly here. Here we've got the 4 filaments loaded on the side. When you select one, you can load or unload it. Editing, this is how you change what filament you've selected. Brand, it only has Elegoo and generic. Types, it does come with a lot of filament types here. I haven't been able to test every single one of these filament types, but I do know it can't print TPU, so some of these options might not be all that printable. Next up, under name here, there's a lot of different types of PLA. PLA Plus, Pro, Silk, Carbon Fiber, Matte, Wood, Basic, all of these different types. And same with all of these other types, like PETG has a bunch of different options. ABS has just one option. TPU does have different TPU options. So some of these come with different versions. Next up, you can change the color. Same with every printer. I dislike this screen. I wish a color wheel or some names would be a lot easier. I do like that it has the history up here, so it's easy to go back to previously used colors. Next up, you press confirm. On the Elegoo spools, this is the part you need to scan. You place it right there and it scans it in. When you scan an RFID spool on the canvas, this is the screen that pops up. It identifies the filament and you tell it where you want it to be loaded in. Here, say we loaded it here, press confirm, and that adjusts it there. This is what they call the Elegoo canvas, and the RFID tag reader is right there. To load in a spool, simply slide it onto the peg, pull out the filament, press it up there, and it pulls it in as far as it needs. Multicolor printers make changing filaments really easy. The spool holders on here don't have a wide range of mountability. Luckily, they are removable, so you could replace this with a 3D printed part. But currently, it works with some spools. Then you'll find some spools that are quite loose on here and might fall off, or some other brands won't fit on there at all. These are similar to the original version on the 85X, but they did have to go back and upgrade theirs. So this will probably be something they need to upgrade in the future. And now with the slight differences between these printers, we need to discuss the price. The Centauri Carbon 1 is currently on sale for $280, and I think that's a great price for what it is. It's a Core XY, really fast printer, really solid, really reliable. Glass and metal, it can print high temperature, but there is no multi-material printing. The Centauri Carbon 2, on the other hand, they told me is going to list for $450. It is a big price jump from the original. Really, you're only adding that multi-material function on there, and that's only printing through a single nozzle. It is competitive with what else is out there right now, but I don't know if I would upgrade from the original just to add this implementation of multi-material, which I think brings me to some of the downsides of this printer. Even though it looks like the FlashForge 85X using these side-mounted spools and this filament changer box on the side mounted here, this one isn't able to print TPU currently. I tested it out, but it currently can't print TPU. The 85X is a cheaper printer, not enclosed, but it can print TPU all through a single nozzle like that. It is pretty wasteful if you try to print a fully multicolor print. Some of these large multicolor prints that I was able to do on the Snapmaker U1, a full tool changer printer, that's the type of printer I would go for if you want to print a lot of full multicolor prints. This is a good filament management system, or simple color layer changes. Changing the top text on a print, this is really great at doing that automatically, hands-free. Another downside to note with both of these printers is the print noise and fan noise. When either of them are on but not printing, there is fan noise, so it doesn't go completely silent. A lot of printers nowadays go completely silent when there's nothing happening on the printer. So all of the Bambu Lab printers, most of the recent Creality printers, the FlashForge 85X that I mentioned recently, those all go completely silent. It does annoy me to have that fan noise on when the printer's not doing anything, so I do have to leave these completely turned off. Also, when they are printing, they're not the most quiet printers out there. It's not the loudest that I've used, but it's not on the scale of silence that the Bambu Lab or Creality printers have gotten down to. A few weeks ago, I was recording a podcast in here, and the Centauri Carbon 2 was printing in the other room. The door was open, but my co-host Jerry mentioned, hey, I hear a printer running in the background. And that's something I haven't heard before, because usually my Bambu and Creality printers are printing in the other room with the door open, but they are just more silent printers when they're running. Again, noise-wise, these aren't the worst. They're just not something I'd want to be living in the same space of while they're printing. Next up, I wanted to talk about the RFID filament system on this printer. They claim that it is open source, but open source really only works if a lot of people buy into that system. And currently, none of the other brands that I have that have RFID tags work on this. Even most of my Elegoo spools don't have RFID tags yet. And so the system is there, but I only have one spool that can actually use it. How the RFID tags are actually implemented really makes a difference. I do think Bambu Lab is currently winning at that. For years, they've been making all of their filament only have these tags on it. So any Bambu Lab spools work on any of their printers, and they never made spools without it. Other brands like Creality have a lot of RFID tag options on there, but on their website you can buy spools from Creality that don't have those RFID tags. And same with other brands. Everyone seems to have their own ecosystem, and some of their spools have RFID tags and some don't. They claim that it is open source, so if it does reach really wide adoption, that could be super useful for 3D printers. But currently it's still at that first step. Now, I do think one of the standout features of this printer is the absolute print quality you can get from this machine. So we should dive right in with some close-ups. Here is our Benchy with some harsh lighting on it. The green one was printed on the Centauri Carbon, and the purple one was printed on the Centauri Carbon 2. These are some of the best Benchies that I've printed. The front lines here are so clear and smooth. All of the details really pop. This is a really impressive Benchy. You can actually read the words on the back here. Most Benchies you cannot. Here's an example of one that doesn't look as good. There's a bit more ghosting on the side here, a bit more surface defects, just inconsistencies on this front line. And this is under some harsh lighting to make sure you can really see any defects that are here. This is the only real multicolor print that I did on this machine because I hate doing multicolor printing on a single nozzle printer like this. It produces so much waste, and this I think is one of the best features. Changing the top few layers of text to make it really pop like this. Of course, I printed some multi-board parts to make sure the dimensional accuracy was correct, and this, just printing a square box like this, shows the absolute print quality here. The few minor surface defects because of this harsh lighting, but overall this works great. They slide into the shells that were printed on a different printer super easily. So cross-compatibility here works great. I did some printing with carbon fiber PETG, and the surface quality on these prints is so cool. I love that added texture, and even with all of the added texture of the carbon fiber, these screw parts printed separately and they screw together really easily. This didn't take a bunch of adjusting to make it work, just default settings, and this printed great. Even some more complex or small carbon fiber parts all printed great here. Next up, we've got white ABS. These were printed flat on the build plate with no brims. Even these tiny little discs all printed perfectly well, flat on the build plate, no warping at all. I think these would be so easy to warp off the build plate because they're just so small. But they printed great, zero defects on any of these. So high temperature printing works great. These are some larger prints done on this printer. These were pre-sliced by Elegoo, so surface quality is up for debate there. I think the ones that I sliced actually look better than the ones that they pre-sliced, which is a good sign that the slicer is improving. This is the poop bucket that goes on the back of the printer. It's a small scaled version of the printer, and I think it's really cute. Next up, a large scale vase, on par print quality wise with a lot of Bambu Lab printers. So that is really impressive results, specifically on print quality. So overall, I've really enjoyed the Centauri Carbon ever since it launched. It is only a single color printer, but it's fast, reliable, really good print quality, and all at a good budget price point. The Centauri Carbon 2 mainly adds multi-material onto a really solid printer. I do think it comes down to the question of, is that price jump worth it for these small upgrades? So hopefully this video has covered the similarities and differences between these two machines. Let me know if you have any more questions about these or other 3D printers. I'd love to help you out in the comments down below. And I will continue doing more tests on this printer. I'll show those in YouTube Shorts, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those. That just about wraps it up. Go out there, create something amazing today, and I'll see you in the next video.